What's up, everybody? This is Maximilian. This episode is actually a very short one. I didn't actually have to edit anything out of this one because I kind of had to take a wild stab as to how long I was recording. I didn't exactly keep track of time for this one, and it ended up being pretty short, so I just decided, well, let's keep this completely raw and uncut, and we'll just go with that. At least that way it keeps it a decent amount of time. But really the only thing that we're accomplishing this episode is level grinding a little bit on the bird trainers that you'll see to the west of Fuchsia, near the gate towards the cycling road. And then we're going to get a little bit of a start on Silph, but not very much, just kind of a minor introduction there. Because I don't want to get too deep into it since it is essentially a maze, and if you get lost in there, it can be very hard to retrace your steps. So I'm going to try walking through that entire thing in one episode. I think it's possible, but I could be wrong. If it does get to the point where it's just going to take a long time to get through the whole thing with all the trainers that we have to battle and whatnot, I'll split it up into 2 episodes, but I really don't think it'll take any longer than that. And then after we get through Silph, we will take care of Koga and Sabrina, and I will have the last 2 Pokemon polls for the Elite Four there, so that way I can have some time to prepare for it. Right here I'm actually using a rare candy on my Pidgeotto because I thought it evolved on level 32, as I'd mentioned earlier, and it didn't, so oops. Whatever. I earned those 2 rare candies. I hadn't used any yet in this game, and I know I've gotten at least 5 or so. So, no harm, no foul, right? Anyway, we are going to keep level grinding Dratini because it's oh so close to evolving to Dragonair. And I think later this episode, I just gave up and said screw it. I earned another 3 rare candies and popped them all to get it to Dragonair. Because Dragonair looks way cooler, and it also has much better stats, so Dratini can fight on its own a lot more efficiently, because Wrap just doesn't do it. I mean, it's a great combo with Thunder Wave, but it just takes so long to do anything. It's like, it's time consuming, and I don't like taking time to kill my Pokemon. I like it done nice and quickly, in case you couldn't tell. So, we're going to get a Dragonair at the end of this episode, and then we're going to Dragonair all the way through Silph, and it's going to be awesome. But until then, we're going to fight the rest of these trainers, and then we're going to go to Saffron City and have some fun over there. Now, since we have 2 more gym leaders after Koga and Sabrina, I'm going to have another kind of poll for those as well. However, I'm thinking what we should do instead is have a poll for Dragonite's moveset, because, as you know, Dragon Pokemon have a wide learning range in that they can have almost any TM taught to them. So, I'm going to propose the idea of, what would you like me to teach my Dragonite once I eventually get it? Because just going with the standard set of moves is rather bland. I mean, they don't really learn anything amazing other than Hyper Beam, so might as well give them something new, right? So as soon as we get to Cinnabar and we fight Blame, I will give you guys a reminder to post a comment about that. And then for the last 2 gym leaders, we'll have a poll on what moves I'm going to teach my Dragonite. And then we'll have some more fun when we get to the Elite Four. But as far as I'm concerned, the last two gym leaders, or the next 2 that we're going to fight, Koga and Sabrina, will be the last ones that we do for the Pokemon poll. Because otherwise I won't give myself nearly enough time to prepare for the Elite Four, to get the Pokemon that I need, and get them up to par with the rest of the team. So, that's just my reasoning behind it. I'm pretty sure you all can agree, too, because I'm sure you're all just sick of voting over and over again, right? I don't know. But it's going to get better from here on out. This is that part of the game where everything starts coming together. There's so much stuff going on, and you just have no clue what to do next. So it's going to start to get interesting. And then once we get to the end of Silph, we'll have our Master Ball, and then we can really have some fun. We can start going under Catch-em-all and making this a little bit quicker. So, we'll have Master Balls at our disposal. We'll also have Lapras, not that too many people care about it, as evidenced in the poll, but we'll have it. And so, that's good, right? Yeah, whatever. The poll is pretty much set. Like, there seems to be definite trends towards specific Pokemon, but there are still a good, I want to say 4 or 5 that are just absolutely neck and neck for these last 2 spots. So, if you've already voted for Dragonite or Gyarados again, I would encourage you to vote for something else, because those two are definitely going to be in there. There's just no question about it. They have easily separated themselves from the rest of the pack. So try voting for something else that you'd like to see in there, because we kind of need to break some ties, if you know what I mean. So I went into Koga's gym and wanted to fight one of the trainers just to kind of get an idea of what I was getting myself into, and that was a bad idea. That was a very bad idea. I didn't realize that the trainers in this gym were this high, so it's basically a real red flag going off there in the back of my mind. Okay, it's probably not the right move right now. So this is just a little subtle way of the game indicating for us what our next best course of action is. And in this case, it's definitely going to Saffron, because the level set in this gym is just far too high for us to compete with. Koga's Pokemon are all upper 30s, low 40s, so there's no point in even trying to continue any farther there. We will worry about that later. So, our next objective is to make our way through Silph, because Gary's not much farther ahead of us. He has a couple of Pokemon in the mid-30s, and at this point he'll have his Blastoise, and it'll be at level 40. So, it'll be a little bit of a challenge, but for the most part, we should be okay. Because we have a very strong Pokemon team here. We can do pretty much anything we need to. So here's a couple of the trainers that you're going to see on the on Silph Tower, and if you'll notice, their levels are a lot more compatible with those on our team. So as soon as I saw that level 25 Golbat come out, that was very reassuring, knowing that I was doing the right thing, or at least the thing that the game was wanting me to do. Sorry, if you can hear me sniffling, I kind of have a slight cold right now. This is what happens when you stay up way too late in college, period, over and over again. And I know you probably think, well, 1 or 2 all-nighters won't kill you, but they start to add up after a while. Namely, Halo Reach came out last night, and I was up till about 3 in the morning, either playing it or doing homework, and I got about 4 hours of sleep last night, and I just felt terrible this morning. So, word of advice, get to bed as soon as possible when you're in college. Staying up late is just not cool anymore, because your body will just suffer for it. And really, there's no point in getting yourself sick, because once you get sick, it's a downward spiral to disaster from there. On the bright side, though, Halo Reach has been pretty exciting so far. I've played through the first few levels of the campaign, played some multiplayer. I have to say, I like the DMR so much better than the Battle Rifle. I can't really put my finger on it, but there's something about it that's just more appealing. I always found the Battle Rifle very annoying. I'm not sure if it's just because I wasn't very good with it, but the DMR just seems like it's better. It seems like it's more put together. Like, I'd much rather be firing single shots than a burst, at least in Halo anyway. Like, in Call of Duty, it's another story, obviously, because the bursts are usually a one-hit kill, but when you have to hit them 4, 5, 6 times with bursts, it's just very annoying. The weapon sets are pretty cool. The levels in the campaign have been pretty amazing so far. I'm kind of getting a gist of what the story is, but we obviously are just getting into it because I've only played like the first 5 missions. So I'll let you know my thoughts on that once I've completed it, because I can imagine I'll be beating it within the next few days. I mean, I didn't just spend $65 in that game for nothing, right? Oh, word of advice to some of you people. If you do go to another game pre-release, or midnight release, and I know Black Ops is coming out in about 2 months, you're gonna, what most GameStops will do is at about 10 o'clock at night, because that's usually when they close on Mondays, which is usually the days when they do the midnight releases for any kind of video game, because most video games come out on Tuesday. You get in line to essentially buy your copy to pay for it, and then what they'll do is they'll mark a number on your receipt or give you a ticket, and then what that does is it essentially saves you a spot in line. So if you want to be earliest in line, although you don't really need to because they will always have plenty of copies of the game, there's no need for it whatsoever. You can line up early if you want to, but they don't actually start giving out spots in line until 10 o'clock. And then once you do that and you have your ticket, your spot in line is saved, so you can do whatever you want until 12:01 when they actually are allowed to start distributing the game. Just kind of a heads up, because a lot of people just figured they had to wait until midnight itself to pay for the game, and we had probably, I want to say, 50 people who had their tickets around 10 o'clock, and then by midnight there were at least another 75, 80 people there who had shown up to just buy the game, and they had to wait a really long time to get it because they can only take you in bunches of 5 or 10 at a time. It has to do with bookkeeping, and they have to make sure that everybody gets the right copy, the whole shebang. So, if you are going to do that, just a word of advice, show up there at 10 o'clock to get your ticket and not at midnight, because otherwise you will be there until probably 1 or 2, and that would really suck. Waiting in line sucks so much. Speaking of Black Ops, I'm still not sold on it yet. I'm essentially going to wait for Mirka Durka to give me his opinion on it. Like, it looks really intriguing, but considering that I just spent $65 on Halo Reach, and there is a potential that this game might not be so great after all, I'm going to wait on it. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love Call of Duty and everything, but I think I'm probably better off just waiting about a month or so to get it. I mean, it's not like I'm going to miss out on anything if I don't play it for a whole month. I mean, you won't be one of those first few people make you feel special or anything, but I don't particularly care. Besides, I know for a fact that I'm busy enough this semester with other things, so I got other things I need to focus on right now. Like getting an internship, finding a job, all that kind of good stuff. You'd be surprised at how much more things you have to take on when you get into college. Your responsibility goes way up. I mean, obviously at the same time, your freedom goes up. You get to do a lot more things that you couldn't do before. But you also have to be ready to take on a lot more challenges and a lot more responsibilities. Because then it starts to get to the point where you transition into the real world, as they call it, and you have to start working for a living. And then you kind of realize that life isn't all just a bunch of fun and games. But whatever. Enjoy it while you can. College is great. Absolutely love college. So that's my little advice for the day. And you know what? It's all free. You didn't have to pay me anything for that. Aren't you guys lucky? You know, some people charge $100 an hour to give you that same advice. But you didn't have to pay me a dime, because I love you guys that much. So, I'm going to keep posting these, hopefully, at a fairly similar rate to what I've been doing right now, because obviously school comes first. I can't put this in front of school since I'm on scholarship, and to be on scholarship I have to keep a minimum GPA. So I gotta work my butt off to make sure that I keep those grades up. And then, once that's taken care of, I'll get to playing this again. But I will try to put up the Silph episodes within the next few days. Because the last few episodes have been really dull, I have to admit. It's just been a bunch of level grinding and we haven't really accomplished anything. But I promise you it's going to be there. Just give me a little bit to do it. In the meantime, go get a copy of Halo Reach and have some fun. I mean, it's definitely got a lot more stuff to it than Halo 3 did, so you got all kinds of stuff you can do. Horde mode, matchmaking, Forge. I haven't even tried out the new Forge yet. Gosh, I have so much stuff I have to do with that game. I feel like I'm obligated to play it. But yeah, it's been really fun so far, so I'd say, from what I've seen so far, definitely worth buying it. Go for it and have some fun. Until then, I'm going to continue playing Halo Reach, and I'll let you guys know what I think about the campaign once I'm done with that. I will see you guys in a little while.